There's money sitting in Social Security with your name on it, not money you might get someday if you wait to claim, not a future cost of living adjustment. I'm talking about benefits you're entitled to right now, today, that you've never received because nobody told you they exist. For some of you watching this, it could be $500 extra per month. For others, it's a one-time opportunity to undo a costly mistake and reclaim tens of thousands of dollars in lifetime benefits. And for still others, it's discovering that a former spouse you divorced 20 years ago could provide you with significantly higher benefits than you're currently receiving. The shocking reality is that Social Security has dozens of benefit types beyond the standard retirement benefit most people think of. There are spousal benefits, divorced spouse benefits, survivor benefits for multiple family members, military service credits, withdrawal options that let you undo early claiming mistakes, and strategies for continuing to work that increase your payments. Most of these benefits are completely invisible unless you know to ask for them, and Social Security isn't going to proactively tell you. We are on a mission to reach 10,000 subscribers to build a community that is aware of these financial shifts. If that resonates with you, hit subscribe. What I find so deeply troubling is that we're not talking about obscure loopholes or benefits that affect tiny numbers of people. These are mainstream provisions written into law specifically to protect spouses, divorced individuals, widows, widowers, veterans, and families. They exist to ensure Social Security serves its intended purpose, providing financial security to vulnerable populations. Yet millions of eligible people never claim them because the system operates on a principle that I believe is fundamentally unjust. You only get what you know to ask for. Let me tell you, discovering you're eligible for one of these hidden benefits can be the financial equivalent of finding $50,000 or $100,000 you didn't know you had. And understanding these benefits before you claim Social Security can prevent you from making irreversible mistakes that cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. This isn't about optimizing around the edges. This is about fundamental money you're leaving on the table. Let's start with the hidden benefit that affects the most people: spousal benefits. If you're married, you can receive up to 50% of your spouse's full retirement age benefit, even if you never worked a day in your life or earned very little during your career. This isn't something added on top of both benefits. You receive the higher of either your own benefit or the spousal benefit. But here's the critical point. Social Security will not automatically tell you about this option. If you claim your own benefit and never ask about spousal benefits, you'll simply receive the lower amount forever. Let me show you the real numbers because they're substantial. Your spouse worked their entire career and has a full retirement age benefit of $3,000 per month. You worked part-time or stayed home raising children, and your own Social Security benefit based on your earnings record is $800 per month. When you reach full retirement age, you're entitled to a spousal benefit of up to $1,500 per month, 50% of your spouse's $3,000. If you claim that spousal benefit instead of your own $800 benefit, that's an additional $700 per month or $8,400 per year. Over a 20-year retirement, that's $168,000 in additional income you're legally entitled to. But here's what actually happens to thousands of people every month. They turn 62, they file for Social Security online or at the office. They claim their own $800 benefit, and nobody mentions that a spousal benefit exists. They receive $800 per month for the rest of their lives when they should be receiving $1,500. What I find particularly insidious about this is how the system is designed. When you apply for benefits, you're deemed to be filing for all benefits you're eligible for. But if you don't know spousal benefits exist, if you don't ask about them, and if the Social Security representative processing your claim doesn't proactively mention them, you could easily miss out. The burden is entirely on you to understand what you're entitled to. The rules around spousal benefits have some important nuances. To receive the full 50% spousal benefit, you must wait until your own full retirement age, which is 67 for anyone born in 1960 or later. If you claim spousal benefits early at 62, they're reduced. You might only receive 32.5% of your spouse's benefit instead of 50%. Your spouse must have filed for their own benefits, or you must have been married for at least 1 year and your spouse must be at least 62 years old. This reminds me of what information theorists call asymmetric information, when one party in a transaction has significantly more information than the other. Social Security knows exactly what benefits you're eligible for. They have all your earnings data, your marital history, your spouse's earnings record. You have none of this information unless you specifically request it. This asymmetry creates an environment where people consistently make suboptimal decisions simply because they don't have access to the knowledge they need. Here's where things get really interesting. If you were married for at least 10 years and are now divorced, you can claim benefits based on your ex-spouse's earnings record, even if they've remarried. Your ex-spouse doesn't need to know. They don't need to agree. Their own benefits aren't reduced in any way. It costs them absolutely nothing. Yet the vast majority of divorced individuals eligible for this benefit have no idea it exists. The numbers here can be life-changing. You were married for 12 years before divorcing. Your ex-spouse had a successful career, and their full retirement age benefit is $2,800 per month. You worked part-time during the marriage, and your own Social Security benefit is $1,200 per month. When you reach full retirement age, you can claim a divorced spousal benefit of up to $1,400 per month, 50% of your ex's benefit. That's $200 more per month than your own benefit, or $2,400 per year. Over a 25-year retirement, that's $60,000 in additional income. What I find particularly powerful about this benefit is that it recognizes the economic reality of many marriages and divorces. One spouse, often the woman, may have reduced their career ambitions or stopped working entirely to raise children or support the other spouse's career. When the marriage ends, they're left with diminished Social Security benefits reflecting their reduced earnings. The divorced spousal benefit ensures they still receive some of the benefit that their spouse's higher earnings generated, even though the marriage has ended. The eligibility requirements are specific but not overly restrictive. The marriage must have lasted at least 10 years. You must be at least 62 years old. Your ex-spouse must be at least 62 years old, or you must have been divorced for at least 2 years. And critically, you must currently be unmarried. If you remarry, you generally can't claim on your ex's record anymore. What absolutely astonishes me is how many divorced individuals struggle financially in retirement while being completely unaware they're entitled to significantly higher benefits based on their ex-spouse's record. I've spoken with divorced women in their 70s receiving $900 per month when they were entitled to $1,600 based on their ex-husband's earnings. That's $700 per month they've been missing for years, money they can never recover for the past, though they can start receiving the correct amount going forward once they learn about it and apply. There's often emotional resistance to claiming this benefit. People feel shame about the divorce or pride about not wanting anything from their ex. But this isn't charity. This isn't your ex giving you something. This is a federal benefit you're entitled to by law because of the years you spent married. Your ex will never know unless you tell them. Their benefits don't decrease. There is literally zero downside to claiming what you're legally entitled to. Now let's talk about survivor benefits, which represent some of the most valuable but least understood Social Security provisions. When a worker dies, their family members can receive benefits, surviving spouses, ex-spouses, children, and in some cases, even dependent parents. The amounts can be substantial, potentially providing $40,000, $60,000, or more annually to a family. Yet many eligible recipients never claim these benefits because they simply don't know they exist. Here's how the math actually works. A worker dies at age 68. Their primary insurance amount was $3,000 per month. A surviving spouse who has reached full retirement age can receive 100% of that benefit, $3,000 per month or $36,000 per year. If the surviving spouse is only 60 years old, they can still claim reduced survivor benefits of approximately 71.5%, which would be $2,145 per month or $25,640 annually. These aren't small amounts. This is replacement income that can mean the difference between financial stability and poverty for a widow or widower. But the benefits extend beyond spouses. A surviving spouse caring for the deceased worker's child under age 16 can receive benefits at any age. There's no minimum age requirement. Each child under age 19 or under age 23, if still in school, can receive up to 75% of the deceased worker's benefit. The family maximum typically caps total benefits at 150, 180% of the worker's benefit. But even with that cap, a surviving spouse with two children could receive $5,000 to $7,000 per month. What I find particularly heartbreaking is how often families miss out on these benefits because Social Security doesn't automatically notify all eligible family members when a worker dies. They may send a notification to the surviving spouse, but if there's a divorced spouse who was married for 10 plus years, or adult children who became disabled before age 22, or dependent parents, these individuals often never learn they're eligible. The divorced spouse survivor benefit is especially important and widely missed. If you were married to someone for at least 10 years, you can claim survivor benefits on their record even if they remarried before dying. The current widow or widower receives survivor benefits, and you can too. Both benefits are paid, neither reduces the other. But divorced individuals often have no contact with their ex's family and may never even learn about the death. They continue living on their own reduced benefit, completely unaware that they're eligible for significantly more. The financial impact is enormous. A divorced woman receiving $1,000 per month based on her own work record might be entitled to $2,500 per month in divorce survivor benefits based on her ex-husband's record. That's $1,500 more per month or $18,000 per year. Over 15 or 20 years, that's $270,000 to $360,000 in benefits she's entitled to, but might never receive simply because she doesn't know to apply. For veterans who served before 1968, there's a little known provision that can add significant money to Social Security benefits: military service credits. These credits compensate for the fact that military service during certain periods didn't earn Social Security credits the same way civilian employment did. But here's the problem: Social Security doesn't automatically add these credits. You must know to request them and provide military service records. The value is substantial. For service before 1968, you can receive approximately $160 per month added to your Social Security benefit for each year of qualifying military service as of 2026. If you served 4 years, that's an additional $640 per month or $7,680 per year. Over a 20-year retirement, that's $153,600 in additional lifetime benefits. What makes this particularly egregious is that many veterans have no idea these credits exist. They claim their Social Security retirement benefit based on their civilian work history, and the military service credits are simply never applied. They receive a lower benefit for their entire retirement because nobody told them to request something they earned through military service to their country. I've spoken with Vietnam-era veterans who discovered these credits years into retirement. They'd been receiving $1,400 per month when they should have been receiving $2,400. That's $600 per month or $7,200 per year in lost benefits, money they can never recover for the years already past. The sense of betrayal these veterans feel is palpable. They served, they earned these credits through that service, but the system failed to inform them the credits existed. The process to claim these credits requires obtaining your military service records, typically your DD 2114 form, and submitting them to Social Security, along with a request to add the military service credits to your benefit calculation. It's not complicated, but if you don't know it's possible, you'll never do it. Here's a provision that could be worth six figures to people who claimed Social Security early and now regret it. The withdrawal of application, commonly called the do-over rule. If you claimed Social Security benefits and it's been less than 12 months, you can withdraw your application, repay all the benefits you've received, and your record is treated as if you never claimed. You can then wait and claim later for a much higher benefit. The math on this is striking. You claimed at age 62 and have been receiving $1,400 per month for 8 months. You've received a total of $11,200. You realize you made a mistake. You have other income and should have waited. Under the do-over rule, you can withdraw your application, write Social Security a check for $11,200, and it's as if you never claimed. You can then wait until age 70 and claim a benefit of $2,480 per month instead of the $400 you locked in. If you withdraw after receiving $11,200 and then wait until 70 to claim at $2,480 per month instead of continuing at $1,400, that's $1,080 more per month, or $12,960 per year. Over a 20-year retirement, that's $259,200 in additional lifetime benefits. Yes, you had to repay $11,200, but the net gain is $248,000. That's an extraordinary return on what amounts to a short-term loan to yourself. What I find so frustrating is that Social Security doesn't advertise this option. When you claim benefits, they don't tell you, by the way, you have 12 months to change your mind if you regret this decision. Many people go through a period of buyer's remorse after claiming early. They feel they made a mistake, but they assume it's irreversible. They resign themselves to the reduced benefit for the rest of their lives when there's actually a window to undo the decision. The 12-month limitation is strict. If it's been 13 months since you claimed, you're generally locked in. The only other option at that point is to suspend your benefits once you reach full retirement age and earn delayed retirement credits until age 70, but this is less advantageous than the do-over because you're already receiving the permanently reduced benefit. Here's a hidden benefit that surprises most people. If you claimed Social Security before full retirement age but continued working, your benefit can increase when you reach full retirement age. Each year you work adds to your earnings record, and Social Security recalculates your benefit to include those earnings if they're higher than any of the 35 years used in your original calculation. Let's look at real numbers. You claimed at 62 with a benefit of $1,400 per month. You continued working for 5 more years with relatively high earnings. Each year, Social Security is supposed to recalculate your benefit to include those earnings if they replace one of your lower earning years in the 35-year calculation. By age 67, your benefit might have increased to $1,680 per month, a $280 per month increase, or $3,260 per year. What I find concerning is that this recalculation happens automatically in theory, but in practice, errors occur. Benefits don't always get adjusted properly, and because most people don't know to check, they continue receiving the lower benefit indefinitely. You need to proactively monitor your earnings record and verify that your benefit is being recalculated each year to include your recent work. The strategic implication is significant. If you claimed early but continue to work, you're not necessarily stuck with that initial reduced benefit forever. Your benefit can grow over time as high earning years replace low earning years in your calculation. This won't undo the initial reduction for claiming early, but it can partially offset it. Let me be very direct about the actions you need to take immediately based on your situation. If you're married, contact Social Security and explicitly ask for a comparison of your own retirement benefit versus the spousal benefit based on your spouse's record. Don't assume they'll tell you. Ask directly. Get the numbers in writing. If you're divorced and were married for at least 10 years, call Social Security immediately and ask about divorced spousal benefits. Bring your marriage certificate and divorce decree. They'll calculate whether you're eligible for a higher benefit based on your ex-spouse's record. Your ex will never know unless you tell them. If you're widowed or your spouse recently died, file for survivor benefits as soon as possible. Don't wait. Don't assume someone will contact you. If you were divorced from someone who died and you were married for 10 plus years, file for divorce survivor benefits even if you haven't spoken to your ex in decades. If you're a veteran who served before 1968, obtain your DD-214 or other military service records and contact Social Security specifically about military service credits. Ask them to add these credits to your benefit calculation if applicable. If you claimed early and regret it, and if it's been less than 12 months, immediately inquire about withdrawing your application. Calculate whether the do-over makes financial sense. If you're past the 12-month window, ask about suspending benefits at full retirement age to earn delayed credits. If you claimed early and continued working, request a detailed benefit calculation from Social Security and verify they're recalculating your benefit annually to include your recent earnings. Check your earnings record for accuracy. What I want to leave you with is an understanding that Social Security is designed as a complex system where benefits depend not just on your work history and when you claim, but on your knowledge of provisions that could be worth tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's a system where two people with identical circumstances can receive vastly different lifetime benefits simply because one knew about spousal benefits or military credits or the do-over rule while the other didn't. This isn't accidental. Social Security has limited resources and millions of beneficiaries. They've adopted a posture where they provide information if you ask the right questions, but they don't proactively ensure every beneficiary receives maximum benefits. This saves the government money, but costs retirees billions in unclaimed benefits every year. The hidden benefits I've discussed, spousal benefits, divorced spouse benefits, survivor benefits, military credits, the do-over rule, and work recalculation aren't loopholes. They're benefits explicitly written into law to protect spouses, divorced individuals, surviving families, and veterans. But through complexity, poor communication, and a system requiring you to know what to ask for, millions never receive them. For many retirees, discovering one of these hidden benefits means an additional $500, $1,000, or $2,000 per month. Over 20 or 25 years, that's $120,000 to $600,000 in additional lifetime income. That's the difference between struggling and thriving in retirement. The tragedy is that this money is yours by law. You earned it. You're entitled to it. But if you don't know it exists, you'll never receive it. Don't let that be you.